This is Tradu, and this is my first video in my series of Mana Forge Omega Mythic kill video commentary things as a Shadow Priest, and it's going to be the Plexus Sentinel. On this fight you can play either Archon or Voidweaver, both are fine. On our first kill I played Archon, and since then I've played Voidweaver. If you play Archon, it's a single target fight, so you just play the single target setup. If you play Voidweaver, you want to make sure you play the Death Speaker Depth of Shadows single target setup, not the Mindbender and Voidwraith version, which is just 2 talent points swapped in either case, but make sure you have the Death Speaker one because there are shields that you want to Shadow at Death, and there's a lot of execute, and yeah, it's pretty good. For your gear, nothing special. There's no trinkets that change anything this tier really, and on the class tree side there's nothing you need either. It's going to be a utility-less fight, so you just pick all the defensive stuff and go from there. For your cooldowns, you just press all of your DPS CDs on CD, because there's nothing special in this fight you need to hold them for. And yeah, let's get into the fight. On pull, you just send everything, nothing's happening, and the first thing that comes up here is this manifest matrices, which is the circles that you drop on the side. Make sure you keep some movement buttons for those, but you shouldn't have to run too far. Then the tank bomb is one of the 2 other mechanics here. It has fall-off damage, and it feels like it's quite aggressive fall-off damage. So you want to press a fade for it maybe, and make sure you're far away at least. Then we just had the wall that comes through. Here. For this one you need to use your extraction button, and just before you do that you want to press some kind of instant spell, just so you spend that animation on something productive instead of just wasting a second or whatever. Then there's the other soak, where we had melee soak first, range second. I know some guilds do it the other way around, it doesn't really matter, just soak the one you're assigned to. Realistically you can't double soak as Shadow, so don't bother trying. There's another tank bomb, and then there's the next phase. Here, if you are Void Elf, which I am, but I didn't realize it at the time, you can throw your Void Elf racial towards the boss, basically, and skip most of this, and just start hitting the boss immediately. You can see I used Halo and Mindbender just on CD, even though they're not hitting much, just to make sure they stay synced. With the tier set, you would get a bunch of Halos on the actual boss as well, but I don't have the tier set in this kill, so I don't. At this point, there's some spinning beams, but there are safe spots. One is over in this kind of area where all the smart ranged are playing. Then there's a not safe spot where I'm playing. And there's another safe spot over on this side here. We have this entire area, spot over here, and otherwise you have to dodge. If you were Voidweaver here, make sure you actually press Shadow at Death on cooldown. It hits very hard, even though you don't get to press it that frequently anymore without Death Speaker procs. And then here you can see the 2 minutes come up basically as the phase starts again, and you just press them there. The main place to use defensives, I think, is for the raid soaks. So this one. Press Fade, press Desperate Prayer for your soak, and you're fine. I don't think there's a need for Dispersion anywhere. I don't think it lets you skip through anything in the intermission either. So, kind of a useless button. This is basically the entire fight. This is how it repeats, and you can see again I'm going to press some kind of instant. In this case it's an instant Mind Blast, I think, to press before the extraction button. Again, the tank bomb runs all the way across. If you're in melee roughly, like on the right side of the boss somewhere, you should be fine. But on my hunter I had some incidents where if I was even just where the totem is, I would just get basically one shot. So be kind of careful. Then for this Raid Soak, we put it in the middle just so people don't get knocked into bombs. I think it's the same thing here. You can Void Elf across if you want to, but yeah, I was unaware and didn't try it, and I don't have any clip of it either. This intermission is basically the same as before. You just walk through all the way, you port through the beam here, the wall, and then you dodge around some stuff. In this area, there's also safe spots. One is going to be over here, which is not where I am playing, because I am once again being dumb. There's another one over on the other side, basically mirrored, all the way at the wall. And I think there might actually be one just at the laser wall up here as well, where melees could be playing, but then swirlies can push you into the spinny beams. This set of 2 minutes comes up during the shield, most likely, which on kills with current gear would most likely be an execute phase, which is where our Void Weaver would shine, because you would have full cooldowns, you have Death Speaker, Shadow at Deaths, with Death and Madness resets, so you realistically probably get 4 Shadow at Deaths, maybe 6 if you are lucky or your guild is slow at killing the shield. But that's where the Void Weaver value would really come out. Otherwise, they are basically identical. Here I'm going to show you a completely useless fact, but if you get stunned here, your Void Form will pause. Don't do that intentionally, but it actually does work. It's not always clear which CC actually worked for it, but this one does, so yay. You'll also notice a bunch during this fight that my Archon rotation is not actually very good. I end up doing a lot of 4 spells between Void Bolts, that kind of stuff, because I've not played Archon very much, or recently at least, at this point in the tier. And now you can see as well, cooldowns are coming up in 30 seconds, the intermission is in 15-ish, potion is already up again, so the next shield, if you have a really slow kill like us in the first week, then you're going to get another one with Twist of Fate and Big Blast. And again here, the Raid Soak, you want to make sure you get knocked towards the middle, not into any of the pools that have been left behind. If you Void Elf the first intermission, you can probably also, or you can for sure also Void Elf this one. I'm not sure what the timing actually is. I'm pretty sure it's just when the knock starts, you throw it towards the boss. But one thing in this intermission that's kind of special that you need to be aware of is that technically you can run all the way around here and get through, or like extraction button through the wall. But if you do it through here, you skip through the wall itself. You don't have to run all the way around, and you can just go all the way left, because that's the only path towards the boss. If you had Void Elf still available and chose to pull through, you could also go a bit faster, because you can Void Elf through the moving wall and then button through the balls or something, but you can also just walk all the way around like a slow person. On this one, once again, there were some safe spots. Over here, there's nothing going on. And I believe there's something similar on the other side as well, but there's no reason to sprint all the way over there when you can just play here. And then, if you reach this point in the fight, you have one more phase 1, basically, and then if you make it to the end of that, he gets very upset, and then just tries to stomp you to death, basically. It's where the fight ends. You just keep spamming walls that you eventually run out of buttons to get through. You can see I've kind of learned my lesson. Don't get knocked towards the traps, because they stun you, and that's not great. You can also see that my movement here is not great. I'm wasting some time in between casts because I don't have any good buttons up, because I didn't save up any. And there you go. Boss dead. You win. Nothing useful drops, but that's just how it works. I hope this was useful in some way, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one for Soulbinder. So yeah.